Your Majesty.
May I say right away how very sorry I am?
Thank you.
Is it your intention to make some kind of appearance or statement?
No, certainly not. No member of the royal family will speak publicly about this. This is a private matter.
I don't suppose anyone's had time to think about the funeral yet.
We've spoken with the Spencer family, and it is their wish, it is their express wish that this should be a private funeral.
Right. And the public, ma'am? The British people?
You don't think a private funeral might be denying them a chance?
A chance to what? This is a family funeral, Mr. Blair, not a fairground attraction. I think the princess has already paid a high enough price for exposure to the press, don't you? Now, if there's nothing else, I must get on. The children have to be looked after.
Of course.
Well, goodbye, Your Majesty.
Now, is that the way Tony Blair is?
I've never met him. I've never met him.
We take educated guesses about
guess.
these things, you know, but guesses that are backed up with a lot of thought and research, but nonetheless a guess.
Okay, what's the essence of your story about the Queen and her reaction to the death of
well, I mean, the events of that week were very her son's ex-wife.
Yeah.
No, I know that now. The events of that week were very dramatic, and they also produced tension between an elected Prime Minister and an unelected
monarch,
yes. Well, Blair had come to office promising modernisation.
Don't point at me when you say monarch, Stephen.
You may have noticed, but you played the bloody part.
I know, but I'm not her.
I can see this is going to
But you played the bloody part.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
So forever now, when we think about her, we'll think about you.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
So, but explain to the audience to make them interested to go watch the movie. What is the dynamic of the Queen and how she responds to this?
Well,
what makes that interesting?
She chose not to. After the day after Diana had died, she chose not to speak publicly. Blair spoke publicly because I imagine he just thought that was expected of him.
Of course.
She chose not to speak publicly for her own reasons,
which were
that Diana's family had asked for a private funeral, that she wasn't any longer a member, that Diana was no longer a member of the royal family, that somehow, if all this nonsense was going to be going on in the press, she shouldn't be part of that sort of circus.
Well, she could have done this without it being a circus. Come on, I mean, she could have.
Well, not really. Not really. And then, as the events of the week, as all the people came out with the flowers and candles and everything, it became more like a circus and drove her into an isolated position. The truth is that Diana's arrival in the royal family must have caused such turbulence. Well, we know it caused turbulence, but it must have been so shocking for them all.
Because she was so young and beautiful, because she was so modern,
because she was so modern,
different.
Because she was so modern.
Yeah.
And because she was like a sort of movie star and, like pop music and Versace and the things that my daughter likes.
She liked, and she was of that.
Yes, absolutely.
Or it certainly became of that, too.
And then, personally, I think the royal family behaved rather badly towards her. And I think the marriage was the real problem.
And you think?
What about?
Royal family, what your director just said. You think the royal family behaved rather badly about her?
I don't know. I don't know. Because I don't know. I don't know those people. I met Diana very briefly once. I don't know, and I think the whole world of gossip and intrigue and people making statements about who should have done this.
This is what the movie's about.
Well,
you tell it, John. You get your head jumped off.
Little hornet's nest here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but
now you know what I went through.
But we're dealing with a specific time, and as I say, within that time, we make an educated guess. I don't know anything about Diana. I haven't studied her. I haven't read my research books, and anyway, I think because the whole issue of Diana was so loaded in terms of celebrity, in terms of press, in terms of the public falling in love with her, falling in love with an image of her. I think it'll take a long time for us to discover the truth, quite honestly. And I don't want to make any judgments either way.
Understood. I lost, didn't I?
I'll go and shoot myself.
You just want to avoid this question.
Yes, whether...
No, but her reasons are very good. I mean, the truth is, it is just gossip.
Yeah. In terms of how the Queen Mother and the Queen responded to all this and what she felt about Diana,
our movie,
what she felt about Diana.
I don't think our movie is gossip.
Yes.
I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying our movie is well researched, as I say, very well researched, very deeply thought about, educated guests.
And people who watch this could consider it the truth.
I think of it as a portrait, in the way that when you go and see a painting of the Queen, and every painting is different, we're just doing a portrait of those 2 weeks. It's our sensibility as artists, what we imagine might have happened. It's no more and no less than that. That's different from making pronouncements about what the royal family should have done, what Diana was like, all of that. That's a different thing to me.
You accept the fact this was an accident and nobody was involved in...
Oh,
whatever.
Yes. No,
of course.
That's all nonsense.
Of course, it's all absolute rubbish.
Why choose her to play?
Good question. Well, you've just seen the way she behaves.
Well, what I don't think I would,
Well, I can see.
But you have the best choice. I mean, if I could choose to work with two people, and you have done this, Helen Mirren and Judi Dench.
Yeah.
I mean, the only person left is Maggie.
She's
right?
Wonderful, yeah. No, they're classy women.
But exactly, I mean, is that what you knew about beyond her just talent? There was something about the way she is that made her perfect for this.
Yes.
What is it?
Well, she's like the bloody Queen.
Stephen. I'm a bolshy little girl from Southend-on-Sea. I'm nothing like the Queen.
No, you are. You're very formidable. You're very formidable. You're very formidable.
Oh, grr.
You see, she's... it's going to be a nightmare the rest of the day.
You mean I've stirred up something here and started something?
I'm not normally asked to say it in front of her.
I look a little bit like the Queen.
So after all this, you come away with some greater respect for her because it is not easy to be Queen, and you carry on a tradition or not.
Certainly a kind of a love for her, and I don't know whether it's misplaced. It probably is, but in playing a role, you fall in love with a person because really what you're doing is falling in love with yourself. So that's a weird thing. But I did, yes, absolutely, without question, a far greater respect coming out of the role than I had going into it.
One last clip from the film. Here it is with Prince Philip, who's played by James Cromwell.
Robin had a call from the Prime Minister, who expressed his concern.
About what?
About the flag above Buckingham Palace. He thinks it should be flying at half-mast.
Then I hope Robin told him there isn't a flag above Buckingham Palace. There's the Royal Standard, which flies for one reason only, to denote the presence of the monarch. Since you're here, the flagpole is bare, which is as it should be.
No, that's not the point.
The point is, it's more than 400 years old. It's never been lowered for anyone. Who does he think he's talking to? You're the sovereign, the head of state. You don't get dictated to. You wait. In 48 hours, this will all have calmed down.
You said that's your favorite scene.
That is my favourite scene, yeah.
Because?
Because, Jamie Cromwell was saying, you're the sovereign, and she's putting these plastic plates out on this terrible, funky picnic table, and that's what they do. They don't have picnics with servants and lace tablecloths and beautiful cushions, They have their Wellington boots, and they go out in the wind and the rain and eat sandwiches.
She likes doing the washing up.
She does.
Yes, she likes to do
it gives her a sense of
ordinariness, which is, I imagine, what she wants to be all the time.
longs for.
Now, what's the business about her and the deer?
You mean what's the symbolism?
Yeah.
I think that's up to the audience to find. I think many people have different ideas of what that symbolises. We know what it meant to Peter as the writer. I know what it meant to me as an actor, and maybe Stephen has a different idea, and certainly different people in the audience have different. That's a good symbol. Actually, that's what symbols should do. But
of course, you're making a film about So, I'm sorry, you'll say this is gossip, but you're making a film about a woman who famously doesn't show her feelings.
Yeah.
I mean, makes a virtue of not showing her feelings.
Right.
So I guess opportunities where you can see her feelings are quite hard to find, and you really take advantage of that.
I want to show this.
To the audience.
You once said, I don't mind if I don't have any lines as long as I get to wear a crown.
I like the way you say that,
Yeah,
Charlie.
there you go. Look at that picture. There she is. That's a fabulous picture.
That's a great picture,
You like
yes. I do, I love it. It's great.
Thank you very much. Lots of people are raving about it, and especially your performance. Thank you for joining us. See you next time.